We're gonna make it specific to women. How often do you find that women find themselves in a pinch or in a shock because of I have to check a box, I have tick a box, I have to show ekaya or these people, I have to take care of everyone. How often do you find that we find ourselves in situations?
Oh, so often. So I think women are nurturers. Women are incredibly responsible. Women take on a lot of load.
Yeah.
And a lot of the load that women take on, especially within budgets, are often very difficult to sustainably quantify because groceries isn't the same every month. Your bundle of joy needs new clothing because they've outgrown it. There's an emergency that needs to be taken care of, as opposed to the more static, consistent ones, such as a mortgage or a car payment, etc. And so you find women often can take on things that are beyond their means.
Yeah.
It's not something people do intentionally or something that people just are malicious in the way in which they take it. Sometimes people are unaware. Sometimes things happen and people don't necessarily feel like they have opportunities to find a way around. And what we also have as well is we have a really strong inability to say I can't. No, I can't afford it. I can only afford this much. I can't afford that much. So we really, really struggle with that.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's shame.
Yeah. Dr. K, when you shared your journey on TikTok and on social media, what was the trend in responses? What did you pick up about what is happening in our finances with society?
Poor understanding.
Okay.
Yeah. So I also saw, I saw that a lot of people of color were coming forward.
Yeah.
People that I could see myself in, no matter the career paths that they've chosen for themselves. And what I could see is that we're very emotive. So exactly what I said in the beginning, I could see that we had similarities in our buying behavior and our investing culture and behavior, right? And that's why I try to even follow up on that video, just to speak a little bit more about, being aware of yourself, be aware of what governs your decisions. Don't carry the traumas of your parents, and don't try to alleviate their traumas by shining, being the shining bright light.
I think that's where a lot of people get caught up. Yeah.
Because we've seen it so many times. Mpumi, how many times have you heard of somebody who's really, really drowning under a lot of debt?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you're just wondering, why don't you just downscale? Because honestly, my late friend's father once said this to her, and I always keep this with me. He said that at the end of the day, you're the only person that will ever sleep with your demons or the decision that you've made. Nobody can help you. Not even the wife that sleeps beside you or your partner, whatever.
Just
right?
you.
Nobody can help you with that. And I think we need to also get into that mindset of understanding that our decisions, especially financially, yes, they could be celebrated by other people, but if it's tight for you, you're the only person that will have to deal with that.
Yeah, it's you.
And downscaling is not something that you should be ashamed of, or speaking out and getting that counsel, getting that help, and having a platform like this. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
What you said just reminds me of a saying where it says, you are not your parents' retirement fund, and your parents are not your emergency fund. So take care of yourself.
You are not their retirement fund,
Yes.
and they're not your emergency fund.
Yeah.
That is on boundaries.
Yes.
That is on boundaries.
Yes.
I want you to unpack a little bit on what the psychology of money is. And I think we've been talking about the psychology,
Yes.
but for someone who doesn't understand, what are you talking about? It's just money. I just need 100 Rand, or I just need 10,000 Rand to change my life.
Absolutely.
And I'll make an example with the whole lotto situation where people win 2-3 million Rand, and then within a year or two, I blew it.
Yes,
exactly.
there's the whole show.
Which goes back to the psychology of money. So can you ABC it for us.
Okay. So when it comes to the psychology of money is, what is your relationship with money? How do you behave where money is involved? Because a budget is you giving your money an instruction on what to do and where to go.
Yeah.
So you're saying, money, I have this amount for eating, I have this amount for electricity, I have this amount for school fees, and I need to follow that discipline.
Yeah.
Now, people often don't necessarily budget very well or tell their money where to go.
We're scared.
And then they also have behavioral, I hate to use the word challenges, but
Yeah.
behavioral outcomes that can influence how they actually behave with money. So, for example, there's a particular store where I love their dresses. When
Yeah.
I walk in, I feel like Cinderella. and
girl.
it's a girl. I know better than to walk into that store.
Yes.
I actually just walk past. Because I can't.
Yeah.
Right. But that is me recognizing and having the self-awareness to know that this is my weakness, the store.
Yeah.
And so psychology of money is to look at myself with awareness, accountability, and self-care and say, how do I behave where money is involved? What are my strengths and weaknesses? And how can I actually take those and become better when it comes to how I engage with money?
Thank you.
Can I add to that?
Yeah.
I think another thing is, how do you also view money?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I love how you described it. I love the analogy that you used, like basically almost like you parenting this thing, you know, you're telling it where to go and how to behave for you, almost like a tool, right? But if certain people find money as a gateway, I think a gateway for whatever, right? That can also be an issue. So if you are looking at money to be your gateway to have a better social standing,
power.
power, to, you know, impress your parents or whatever, you know, or to get you tokens of freedom. And then that's when you'll then see that people's behaviors really differ. But I love how you put it.
I love it too.
Yeah, honestly, I love how you put it.